Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is September the 26th, 2021. Today I'm going to be looking at the S&P 500 and where we left off on Friday and the price movements that we had, along with our watch list names like Apple, Tesla, a nice bull move towards the end of the day on Friday, Snap, ABNB, FedEx, and Baba are the names that I want to discuss today that caught my eye. But before we get started, guys, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Leave a comment in the comment section if you do want a name reviewed for next week. And also, if you are interested in trading with us at Wealthy Mentor Trading, the link in the description shall take you there. And we are running a promo for September for $49.95, which includes all our watch lists, our options callouts, daily market analysis, and a group full of wonderful guys that are willing to teach you and help you out every single day. And if you have any questions, please hit me up on IG at Wealthy Mentor Trading, and I can assist you with anything that you have in mind. With that being said, we do have the S&P 500 right here on the main screen. And as you guys can see, we did have a gap down to start off on Monday, and we did have weakness all the way down to that $4,300 support line. Big drop, mostly due to the markets waiting for the Fed decision. They did have a two-day meeting talking about inflation and whatnot. So usually when those big names like the Fed coming out with Jay Powell with comments and whatnot, the market is at a standstill and volume is scarce. In this particular moment, we did sell off down to that $4,300 area. We did have some FUD with China as well. So all those things catapulted us down to that 4,300 support line. We did have a nice V-shaped correction closing off Friday's session pretty bullish above that 44.50 line, which is where I wanted to see us at. And going into next week, basically I am looking at that 44.60 area as my first confirmation for entry, but 44.70, 44.80 are my targets, number one. And if we do have a bullish market going into next week, 4,500 is that key psychological number that I'm going to be looking at. Now, to the downside, I do want to see us hold that 44.30 line, but if that does break, a shorting opportunity down to 44.10 as your first take profit and 4400 as your second take profit. Obviously, if we can't hold that 4400 psychological, we could pretty much see us going down to that 43.75 area on market weakness. Overall, I am bullish on the S&P 500. However, I do want to see that 4,500 psychological line break to the upside for us to be in a proper posture moving forward. All right, that's the S&P 500 on the hourly time frame. The first name that caught my attention and it really moves with the market is Apple. Ticker AAPL is the name. Now, Apple obviously had a down week as well, just because it does flow with the S&P 500. So if you do see the S&P 500 hit those key 44.80, 4,500, you can definitely see Apple move above as well. So I am looking at that 150 resistance line. For me, that is key. If that is broken, my targets to the upside are 152, 154, and 156. Like I said, if we do see a bullish momentum in the S&P 500, look for Apple to also push higher as well. Now to the downside, if we do have a down week, where can you see us going? That 145 to 144 area is key support for me. If that is broken, I would suggest taking puts all the way down to that 142 area, where we did have a nice bounce here, just slowly crossing it down to that 141 before bouncing up, and buyers stepped in. Buyers stepped in around here, the same time the S&P 500 also started to make that V-shaped correction. So key area, 150 for entries, 144 for puts. Okay, that's the Apple analysis on the 1 hour time frame going into tomorrow and the rest of the week. Another name that I want to look at is Tesla, TSLA. And Tesla is significant to me is because they've made a nice move on Friday. As you can see here, this is Friday's action right here. We broke through past that 750 barrier, hitting targets 765, 770. And overall, we do have 780 as a great entry point getting into next week. Now, we do have buyers, options buyers, buying up the $800 calls going into a week prior before earnings, which is the 20th of October. So the October 8th, $800 calls are being bought up by options buyers because they are bullish, and that could mostly be in due for a strong earnings, right? So going into tomorrow, I am looking above that 780 line for my entry. 790 and 800 are my two targets that I'm going to be looking at. Now, let's just say we blow past 800. Where do I see it going? Well, I do have 815 as my next take profit and 830 as my really bullish profit. Okay, so if we do see strong momentum on Tesla, look for those targets to the upside. Now, let's just say the market does have a down week, just like the week we had before. Where do I see key support at? Well, that 765 area is key support for me. It was resistance over here back on September the 7th, and it kind of held all the way till Friday when we finally broke above that 765 area. So if we do see a pullback, look for 765 to hold and to consolidate around that area and then see a move higher. If we cannot hold 765, I am going to be opening up puts for my first take profit at that 750 line. I would prefer to close my position at 750 and reanalyze and to see where we're at, because this was the breakout point and the entry point that I had last week on a successful trade at Wealthy Mentor Trading. As you guys know, I did post that on our IG page. So if you haven't caught that, take a look at Wealthy Mentor Trading. So 765, a break of that. My first take profit is that 750, and my second take profit is that 740 line if we do see continued weakness. As I mentioned, buyers are stepping in and targeting that $800 call a week before earnings. So momentum is swinging into Tesla's favor, and that only tells me that it is bullish heading into earnings. Okay. Next name that I wanted to look at is Snap, SNAP, which had a really bullish week, breaking that $79 resistance line where we couldn't break it on multiple occasions here on the hourly time frame. Finally busted through with some nice volume, as you guys can see here, towards $83, which marks an all-time high. Now, switching over here to the daily chart to give you guys a better outlook, you guys can see here we were in a bull flag formation. This was the flagpole here. This is the flag itself, right? From that $73 to $79 line, we finally broke past it, and now we are making all-time highs at $83. Going into next week, I am looking above that $83.50 line, $84 if you want to be specific, for take profit targets at $86 and $9 respectively. This bull flag did take a long time to break through. So that was basically back on July the 23rd, and we finally broke out on September the 22nd and the 23rd, pushing through. A few things can happen here. We can see some consolidation around that $79 to $83 area for quite a bit, and then finally break through, creating another bull flag. So right here is your bull flag, right? This is your flag. Sorry, your flag pole. And basically when we consolidate around these areas, it would be your flag and then a push to the upside. So that can be one scenario, or we could open up tomorrow really bullish and break right through that $84 resistance towards 86 target number one, and number two is 90. Now to the downside, we do have support at $79. Previous resistance now turns into support. So look for $79 to hold, push over here, and then move up. You could see buyers step in at $79 if we do see a pullback. If we don't see buyers step in at $79, look for put positions down to your first target of 73 and $70 where we do have some strong resistance over here. Okay, I am bullish on Snap, and it is on a blue sky breakout, so keep that name in mind heading into next week. Another name that I'm bullish on, and it did close the week pretty strong, is Airbnb. ABNB is the ticker. And as you guys can see here, we have been building up some momentum here on the daily time frame, and we are at that $176 resistance. I'm looking at a break above 176 for potential take profit targets at 183, which was the top and the last significant high back on April the 29th, 2021, before we broke down. Okay, so Above 176, my first take profit is that $183 line. I would take profits right here if we do see some convincing volume to the upside and wonderful market conditions. I do have 191.5 as my second take profit target, and it was during this peak right here on April the 1st as well. Okay, so those are my two targets to the upside. Now to the downside, I have 170 as key support. It was the breakout point right here last week, so I am expecting that to hold and to buyers to step in around 170. Now if that does break, 163.5 and 158.5 are your support areas, as we did see a nice little bounce right here on a doji candle, which marks as a reversal, and buyers stepped in and pushed the price all the way to that 176 area. All right, so that is Airbnb on the 1-day time frame. So I am looking at a break above 176, and I am looking at key supports at 163.5 and that 155 to 158 area where buyers stepped in and protected that line last week. Okay, another name which is part of our swing trading watch list on Wealthy Mentor Trading. We do offer this under our low cap names, right? And that would be FedEx. FDX is the name. And I just wanted to stop right here and give you guys just a look at this. We do have all-time highs here at that 319 area, and we have dropped pretty significantly down to that 122 to 125 area, which marks about a 30% decline since all-time highs. So switching over here to the 4-hour time frame, I'll give you guys an outlook on where I see it going and where you should be entering on a nice swing trade. Okay, we do have that 122.5 area where I personally would like to enter at. And if we do see a hold at that 122.5 area, look for buyers to step in and to push it all the way to 135, where we did hit a bottom right here back on January the 28th. So I am looking for a nice scalp trade if 122.5 holds for a push to 135. My first take profit would be 130, of course, where we did have a nice consolidation point and a bear flag here, right? Zooming in here, this is your flag pull down, and this is your flag itself breaking down underneath 230 resistance, support, I should say. Now, if we do hold that 122 area, as I mentioned, your targets to the upside are 230 and 235, a significant decline, 30% since all-time highs. And this is one of those names that I would prefer to take on a swing trade and slowly add to your position. Don't go all out at 122. Let's just say you enter at 122, you put a little bit more at 130, a little bit more at 135, and then you add to your position gradually for a nice return on your investments. As I mentioned, 122.5 is key support. Now, if we do break lower, I am switching over here to the daily time frame. Actually, let's go switch over here to the weekly time frame, as this stock has declined significantly, right? As you guys can see, big bearish week. Where do I see it going? That 122.5. I want buyers to step into there. If buyers can't step in there, I do have that 207.5 support line, which does coincide with the October 22, 2018 line. That's a pretty significant decline here, guys. So if you do catch a bounce at 122, good for you for a push to 235. If the volume is strong to the downside, let it run all the way down to that 207 or $200 area before you enter. All right, that is FedEx on a nice swing trade, and we do offer this at Wealthy Mentor Trading. Another name that's significantly declined that caught my eye, and it is oversold on the weekly RSI, as is with FedEx. The next name is BABA, B-A-B-A. And here it is, as you guys can see here on the weekly time frame, we did have 320 as all-time highs, and we have declined 55% all the way down to that 147 support line. Now, this has happened due to some regulations out in China and the stock market. So will it decline further than this? It may. However, a 55% decline is a healthy pullback, and some areas that I'll be looking at to enter would be that 147 line, as we are breaking lower, and we have a low here at that 129, 130 area, which is the lows back on December the 31st, 2018. As with FedEx, this has dropped significantly, and it is a great candidate for a swing trade. So going into next week, where do I see my entry points? A good entry point would be that 147 area. An excellent entry point would be that $130 area. Now, as I said before, you can always cost average into your trades. So if you are in a swing trade, you don't have to go all out at 130 or 147. What you can do, hypothetically speaking, if you're at that 130 area, you enter a position, part of your capital, increase your capital on the break of 147, perhaps close your position at that 167 line, because it was the bottom of this thing, which was support, now it turns resistance. So 167, I would look to close my position, right? You clock in profits, and then you see how the market reacts and also how the stock reacts, because a bounce from 130 to 167 is a healthy percentage move, and you would like to see where the stock consolidates from there and see where its posture is going forward. All right, guys, those are the 6 names that I want to speak about. And to give you guys a quick overview, Apple, I am looking above that 150 line. Now, that only happens if you see the S&P 500 push higher, as I mentioned. Tesla, strong move to that 770 line. 780 is an area where I'm going to be looking at to enter. Like I said, buyers are stepping in, pushing that stock past that $800 area where options traders are bullish in anticipation of a strong earnings. Snap is creating all-time highs. It is in a blue sky breakout, so it's definitely one of those names that you want to catch and keep an eye on.